It's strange how a place can hide so much darkness behind a welcoming door. The Grubbs family home looked perfect from the outside. Manicured lawn, tire swing, family photos on the wall. But inside, a secret was festering, one that would shatter Meadow Creek forever. The first 911 call came from the killer himself, Robert Grubbs, calmly confessing to what he'd done. Why? That was the question that haunted us. I'm Detective Frank Miller, Meadow Creek PD, 27 years on the job. I've seen darkness, but the Grubbs case was different. Personal, not random. When I entered that house, the silence was suffocating, the family photos a cruel contrast to the tragedy. The call came just after dawn, October 28, 2025, a day this town will never forget. Robert sat on the steps, hands folded, waiting. No resistance, just emptiness. Inside, Eleanor and their two kids, Sarah and Ben, were found in their beds. The Grubbs family seemed perfect. What could have led to this? I was assigned lead investigator. My job, find the why behind the what. Robert confessed but gave no motive, just repeated that he'd done it. It was up to me to give Eleanor, Sarah, and Ben a voice. The truth was buried deep within those walls. As I dug, I realized the Grubbs family was nothing like their neighbors believed. The journey to the truth would change me too. Sometimes, the darkest secrets hide in plain sight, and this secret was about to unravel. Meadow Creek, where everyone knows your name and the Grubbs family fit right in. Robert, respected accountant. Eleanor, beloved kindergarten teacher. Sarah and Ben, bright, popular kids. On the surface, they were the American dream. But as an investigator, you learn to look for cracks beneath the veneer. Friends and neighbors describe them as perfect. Flowers every Friday, happy family photos, never a sign of trouble. But perfection is a heavy mask. The crime scene was too clean, too methodical. No struggle, no forced entry. This wasn't a crime of passion. It was cold, calculated. The lack of chaos was chilling. We dug into their lives, finances, phone records, social media. Everything looked normal, too normal. But a man doesn't just destroy his family out of nowhere. There had to be a catalyst, a secret buried deep. We hadn't found it yet, but I knew it was there. The real story was hiding in the shadows. The Grubbs' perfect life was just a facade, and facades always crack. We just needed to find where. The search for the truth had only begun. The first break came from a dusty box in the attic, labeled Old Bills. Inside, beneath the clutter, was a bank book from the Cayman Islands. Robert Grubbs had a secret offshore account, opened 15 years ago, with deposits and withdrawals far beyond his means. The money trail was staggering. We brought in forensic accountant Maria Flores to trace the funds. Robert wasn't just a small-town accountant, he was laundering money for a criminal organization. The quiet family man was living a dangerous double life. Eleanor and the kids were victims of a world they likely never knew existed. Did Eleanor suspect, or did she choose not to see? We weren't just investigating a murder anymore. We were unraveling a betrayal years in the making. Robert's lies ran deeper than anyone imagined. The first thread had been pulled. The whole tapestry was about to unravel. With Maria's help, we untangled Robert's financial web, shell companies, hidden accounts, illicit money flowing in and out. The withdrawals led to a single recipient, a private investigator, Jack Corrigan. Why would Robert hire a PI? Was he being watched or watching someone else? We subpoenaed Corrigan's files. The truth was shocking. For 5 years, Robert paid Corrigan to investigate his own wife, Eleanor. The reports detailed her every move. Grocery trips, lunches, school events. But 6 months before the murders, the reports changed. Eleanor was making secret calls, taking trips. She was having an affair. She planned to leave Robert, take the kids, and disappear. Robert, the man who controlled everything, was about to lose his family. The illusion of control was slipping, and that's when everything began to unravel. The motive was coming into focus. Eleanor's affair and her plan to leave shattered Robert's world. He wasn't just a money launderer, he was a husband consumed by jealousy and control. The PI's reports showed his obsession, his unraveling. We confronted Robert with the evidence. For the first time, his facade cracked. He spoke in fragments about pressure from the criminal organization, fear, and his fantasy of escaping with his family. But he was trapped, owned by the people he worked for. In his mind, his family was his to control. Discovering Eleanor's plan was the final blow. She was taking the children, his legacy, his claim to normalcy. He convinced himself he was protecting them from his enemies, from a life without him. If he couldn't have them, no one could. It was a chilling, selfish motive, born from darkness and control. The truth was uglier than we'd imagined. Robert's world had collapsed and he took his family with him. The motive was clear. Now we needed the full confession. The confession came during a stormy night. Robert finally broke. He described confronting Eleanor, begging her to stay, but she refused. Her words, "I don't love you anymore," were the breaking point. He claimed it was like an out-of-body experience. He went to his children's rooms first, believing he was sparing them pain. Then he sat by Eleanor, remembering happier times, before ending her life too. Afterward, he waited for dawn, then called 911. The confession was harrowing, a toxic mix of fear, jealousy, and control. Robert was trapped in his own prison and chose to destroy everything inside. The rain stopped, but the stain of what happened would never fade. The truth was finally out. We found one last piece, a diary hidden in Eleanor's bedside table. Her final entries revealed fear, hope, and a desperate longing for freedom. She sensed Robert's secrets, his paranoia, his control. Her affair was a lifeline, a chance to escape. The last entry. "Tomorrow, I'm going to tell him. I've booked tickets for me and the kids. We're starting over." She wanted happiness for herself and her children. Reading her words was gut-wrenching. The diary dismantled Robert's justifications. He hadn't protected his family. He'd destroyed their only chance at happiness. The diary became key evidence at trial, a voice for Eleanor from beyond the grave. Her truth was finally heard. She was silenced but not erased. The diary was her final act of defiance. Her story would not be forgotten. The trial was somber. Evidence laid bare. Financial crimes, PI reports, confession, Eleanor's diary. Robert's defense claimed he'd snapped under pressure, but the jury saw a calculating killer. Guilty on all counts. Life without parole. No emotion from Robert, just emptiness. Justice was served, but comfort was scarce. Meadow Creek was left scarred. The house on Whisperwind Lane a grim reminder. The case rippled beyond our town. The criminal organization dismantled, thanks to Robert's records. In a twist, the man who enabled crime became its undoing. A small measure of good from immense tragedy. For me, it was a reminder. The greatest monsters are often those we think we know best. The Grubbs mystery was solved, but its questions lingered. Trust, betrayal, darkness, they stay with you. The story became a cautionary tale for us all. The Grubbs family tragedy shows how darkness can hide behind a perfect facade. Evil doesn't always look like a monster. It can look like a neighbor, a father. The search for truth is relentless, and every case is a journey into the human heart. Meadow Creek will never be the same, but Eleanor, Sarah, and Ben's memory endures. There are countless other stories, mysteries waiting to be solved. Each case matters, to the victims, the families, and to us all. By seeking the truth, we honor those lost and learn hard lessons. The work never ends. Join us as we uncover more secrets, because you never know what darkness lies beneath the surface. The search for answers is just beginning.